Saliva has a serious identity crisis. One second it's WD-40, the next second it's Elmer's glue. Like your coworker who always gets the job done, but you never know how they're gonna do it. They're really chill. And then all of a sudden they're like, let's get this done. Recently my uncle, who is a lawyer, was deciding to open some super glue with his mouth and it just exploded in his mouth and he said, well, I'm toast. But he wasn't toast because saliva healed him. Boom, done. If that was on your fingers, you know, they're sandpaper. The tongue, nothing. And then I said, I want to know a little bit more about saliva. This is what I found. So let's talk about mucins, okay? These things. Do you know what a mucin is? I don't think you do, and if you do, it's probably just because of Mucinex. Mucins are proteins with commitment issues. And while you're here, you might as well go ahead and spit on that subscribe button, lick that subscribe button, whatever. I know that's weird, but you're here. Help a brother out. 3 things in this video. Saliva is a lubricant. It's an adhesive. It's a non-Newtonian fluid. Engineers get to have Newtonian fluids. They love their guy Isaac. Biologists get to deal with the non-Newtonian fluids. And with non-Newtonian fluids, you have shear thinning, shear thickening, and then also time dependent, but we're just gonna talk about thinning and thickening. For the shear thinning, it's called a pseudoplastic, and that is consistent with ketchup, paint, your saliva. The other aspect of it is the shear thickening. If you've seen the Mythbusters Oobleck demonstration, it's so sweet. You can stick your hand into this fluid whenever you're going slowly, and then whenever you're going really fast, it becomes a solid. To impress engineers, and not doctors, because doctors won't know this, but engineers will, maybe, say that saliva is a viscoelastic, shear thinning polymer solution. Sounds big, it's not that crazy, honestly. Viscoelastic behaves partly like a liquid and partly like an elastic. Shear thinning, whenever it shears, it becomes more thin. It's not as sticky, it becomes slippery. And you could say that's less viscous because higher viscosity, like honey, more sticky. And polymer solution, long polymer chains, long lengths of things all together. Poly, many. So let's start with the adhesive and how this is engineering in and of itself. Whenever you're chewing, you're getting all this food into a bolus. What's happening in the bolus is that these things, the mucins, are all just hanging out, tangled up with each other. They're saying, what's up, Bob? What up, Steve? What's up, brother? How are the kids? The bolus forms. If you didn't have these mucins, then that bolus might not actually form into one solid structure. If you have ever exercised in your life, you know this demonstration. Whenever you go for a run, and your spit, your saliva starts to become really sticky and icky and gooey, and you don't want to swallow it, but it's like, it's hanging off from your tongue. That's because of your mucins. All of that water is evaporating, and then all of those mucins are hanging around, and they become really, really, really tight. Saliva binds all of the food particles together. Without it doing that, it would actually be an aspiration risk, or meaning that you might swallow into your trachea, into your windpipe, and that could go into your lungs and cause an aspiration pneumonia. Imagine trying to swallow a mashed potato that doesn't become one potato in your mouth. It's just like a bleh of potato. It doesn't work. Aspiration galore, which is a big, bad, scary, no good, very horrible thing. Your engineering does not allow that. The cool thing is, once there is a shear force applied, meaning shearing, sliding across another surface, these guys that are just chilling together, having a grand old time, they say, oh, it's time to line up, boys. Boom. Real quick. Smooth, gliding. And really that's what it is. That's what the non-Newtonian fluid is. Now the lubrication is more than just the food going down the gullet. It's also speech, moving everything in your mouth. It's rubbing everywhere all the time. Your cheeks against your teeth, your tongue against your teeth. Everything has, well, it would have friction, but the lubrication is immaculate. Thank you, mucins. Specifically mucin 7 and mucin 5B. I take all of these things for granted. Most people do. If you meet somebody, however, who has xerostomia, meaning dry mouth, they don't create saliva, they have a much more difficult time speaking, chewing, and swallowing, and even have difficulties with their teeth, like enamel breakdown, because your saliva also protects from bad bacteria. And there's a ton of bacteria in here, but it protects from the really bad dental caries. Talk to your dentist about that. Us medical doctors know that teeth exist, and that's about the extent of our knowledge. Important point is that these have no idea what the heck they're doing. They don't have a brain. They're just designed incredibly so that they function so well that we're able to talk, swallow, speak, protect our enamel. You're cool. Your spit is cool. Peace.